This is a HeadGum podcast.
Welcome to All Fantasy Everything, the podcast that fantasy drafts the entire world. I am your host, Ian Karmel. Welcome to our inaugural episode. This is the very first one we've ever done. So I'm going to explain exactly what it is we're doing here, so you're not left out in the cold. When I say fantasy draft the whole world, what I mean is we're doing like fantasy drafts, but about things that aren't sports. We're fantasy drafting sandwiches, hip-hop albums, politicians, pretty much anything you can think of. If you're not familiar with fantasy drafting, here's how that works. We pick a topic, we determine a draft order, and then we proceed to put together our teams, drafting one thing at a time. Once one of the things has been picked, that's it. It's off the board. So if we're doing sandwiches and somebody picks French dip, then nobody else can pick French dip. After 5 or so rounds of all that, we let you, the listener, determine who had the best draft, and then we do it all again next week. That's it. That's the podcast. Along the way, people tell stories, explain why they pick certain things. It's been a lot of fun doing it. I think you're going to have a lot of fun listening to it as well. This week we get started with the idea that gave me the idea for this podcast in general. Today we are fantasy drafting the movie Airheads, that movie that starred Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, and Steve Buscemi. And when I say we're drafting Airheads, I don't mean like one of us just says, I take Airheads, and then the rest of us agree. I mean, we're drafting the further careers of the 3 stars of Airheads, Fraser, Buscemi, and Sandler. So you can take any movie, TV show, whatever it is that they've been in since the movie, or even before the movie, Airheads. And we're putting together our list like that. After 5 rounds, each of the contestants will have a list of 5 movies. You determine which one of those is the best, and then we move on. So that's kind of it. It was so much fun to record. I think you're going to love listening to it. Without further ado, I should say who's joining me on this one. Because we're drafting from a list that includes the movies of Adam Sandler, I thought who better to have on the podcast than the biggest Adam Sandler fan I know, stand-up comedian, television writer, Sean O'Connor. Joining Sean and I is the comedian Sergio Serna. He's a television writer and a comedian, also very funny, also so-so taste in a movie, so he's perfect for this. And the expert we brought on for this episode from the website Birth Movies Death, pop culture critic Devin Faraci, who is fantastic and a lot of fun on the podcast. So there it is. I think that's all the housekeeping. Without further ado, here is the first episode, the Airheads episode of All Fantasy Everything. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All Fantasy Everything. I'm your host, Ian Karmel. Today, this fantasy draft we're doing today was the original, the one that gave me the idea to do this podcast at all. We are drafting the movie Airheads, which means we are drafting the careers of the 3 leads of the movie Airheads: Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Adam Sandler, the Lone Rangers. Here with us today, we have an esteemed panel of drafters. We have a stand-up comedian, television writer, bon vivant, Sean O'Connor.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, now you talk.
I didn't know if you were going to go right into the next guy. So.
No.
Yeah, I'm Sean, and I like to have fun.
There you go.
And if I pick number 1, this draft is done.
Hell yeah. Sean is a fellow writer for the Late Late Show with James Corden for the time being. Also wrote on a sports show with Norm Macdonald, Stonequackers.
A bunch of canceled cartoons on FXX. They love doing that.
They love having you write 12 episodes and then immediately canceling it.
Yeah, they air them once on Halloween night at 4 a.m.
And the Lucas Brothers Moving Company, another canceled cartoon.
That was a canceled cartoon. The Major Lazer canceled cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty great.
It's good to have a lane. Also New York Mets enthusiast.
Big time.
And where can people can follow you on Twitter at Sean
O'Cons or at J Leto the Joker.
So you're lifting the veil. People now know that you're the Joker.
Yes, it's Nate Fernald and I, and occasionally Ian, and sometimes just a chick.
It started as a lot of us, and then you and Nate are like still doing it.
We're still doing it. We're trying to get a book deal. We're trying to write a book as Jared Leto as the Joker.
Nothing will be more prescient than Jared Leto as the Joker in the 3 years it takes to make that book. Joining Sean and myself today is Devin Faraci. I'm saying that right?
That's correct.
Hell yeah, Devin Faraci, creator and writer at Birth Movies Death, movie critic, culture critic. Can I put that? Can I put that on your head?
Pop culture pundit.
Pop culture pundit.
That's what it is. It makes it sound important. Yeah,
it's so
good.
plosive.
I talk about comic books and shit, so it's pop culture pundit.
Pop culture pundit. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Where can people see what you're up to right now?
My website, birthmoviesdeath.com.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter at DevinCF. I never stop tweeting.
Yeah.
And you can listen to my podcast, The Canon, over on Earwolf.
That's fantastic. So make sure you check out that podcast after listening to all of ours twice, and if there are any sponsors, frequenting them as often as you can. Devin, thank you for joining us. Also, this is our first four-banger. This is our first draft where we have four people. The drafting field was so lush that we had to bring in a fourth. We have joining us Sergio Serna, comedy writer, currently a writer's assistant on The Late Late Show with James Corden, with Sean and I.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for having me.
What else? You've worked on some other television programs before.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked on a couple other shows. I worked on The Ben Show with Ben Hoffman.
More charisma, Sergio.
I worked on Dion Cole's Black Box on TBS.
Yeah.
And
what was the working title for that?
We can cuss on here.
Dion Cole's Black Pussy.
Whisper cuss.
Yeah, that's not true. I've worked on I'm just a professional note taker.
Yeah. You're a comedy. Once you've contributed even one joke, you're a comedy writer.
Sure, yeah.
You just happen to be in the writer's assistant position on this show.
Yeah.
Where can people follow you on Twitter, on social media, and stuff like that? See what you're up to.
If they really wanted to follow me on Twitter, it would be Sergio C. Serna. Serna. What's my email? Fuck.
At gmail.com.
Yeah. If you want to shoot me an email, feel free.
Sergio prefers... This whole Twitter thing is a little bit impersonal, so Sergio prefers to build a one-on-one relationship.
I'm so used to just giving my email and not my Twitter handle. That's what just happened.
If people want your credit card information, they can follow the number at...
Feel free to email me. I'll get back to you.
All right, fantastic. So we are the people drafting. I've never figured out a drafting order between four people before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of a number in my head between 1 and 20. And whoever either gets it or is closest gets to determine the draft order. They get to place themselves and then also the three others. So I've picked the number in my head. Sean, go first.
17.
Okay.
That's crazy. I was going to say 17. I really was.
Yeah, no, I don't know why.
That came right to my head. That's so weird. I'll go with 18 then.
Ooh, 18.
You
I feel it's right there. Like,
I'm going to go with 2.
2. Okay. I'm going to go with 13. And it was 13. So I get to pick the draft order. No, Sean, you get to pick the draft order. Sean O'Comedy.
Okay, I want Devin picking first.
Okay.
Me second.
Yeah.
You third. Sergio fourth.
Sergio going fourth. It's to remind the listeners, the drafting style is serpentine, so if you get the first pick, that means the first round, you also get the last pick of the second round. Sergio, that means you get 2 picks in a row. So get your ass ready. We are drafting the movie Airheads, the creators of Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, and your boy, everyone's boy, Brendan Fraser. Let's get to it right now. All right, Devin Faraci, you are now on the clock with the first pick in the All Fantasy Everything Airheads draft.
This is an easy one for me. I got to go big right up front. I'm going to go with Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love, dipping into the Adam Sandler.
He went to the Sandman.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Unless Sean was picking first, I wouldn't think anyone would go Sandler first.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I don't know how much I want to talk about my strategy up front and blow it for myself, but I feel like it's the only great Sandler movie, like the great Sandler movie. And Buscemi, who I'm deeply interested in, his bench is very deep.
He does have a very deep bench.
I'm not feeling a lot of anxiety on the Buscemi.
Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, released in 2002. What do you love about this movie?
Well, I really don't like Adam Sandler. I really don't, and I don't get Adam Sandler. I find him really irritating. He's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like I can't like
every piece of everything from his earliest works up until now.
From SNL on. Like,
wow, not even the albums.
No, the albums I find grating.
Wow.
You can't. Sloppy Joe doesn't get Sloppy Joe. That doesn't even get stuck in your head.
No.
I think about that once a day.
No, I don't. I love Sloppy Joe, but not the songs.
Yeah.
I love the meat.
Despite which, actually, you say you love Sloppy Joes more than everyone else because you hate that song and still you love it.
Still love to eat it. Yeah. But so I really don't like Adam Sandler. And Punch Drunk Love is the only movie where the premise is Adam Sandler is totally fucking insufferable.
Yeah.
And it's perfect, and Paul Thomas Anderson finds this pathetic thing inside of Adam Sandler that allows me to, for like 2 hours, like him, because the insufferable, grating, irritating guy has this pain inside of him.
Yeah.
And I can kind of get with that.
I once heard a very funny story about Adam Sandler's takeaway from Punch Drunk Love. So he made the movie. He was telling his friends about it, and they were like, "Oh my god, you're working with Paul Thomas Anderson. That's so cool. That's great." And Adam was like, "Yeah, it's amazing." They wrote a scene where we go to Hawaii and we filmed in Hawaii. Guys, we can do that. So what you saw after Punch Drunk Love, Adam Sandler's movies were all him going places. So there's 51st Dates in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill, they're going on a cruise. They rent out a cruise ship. And he just goes on family
Blended,
vacations.
they go to Africa.
Yeah.
Blended, they go to Africa.
And he takes all his boys with him, too.
That's right. Yeah. Grown Ups was like a vacation.
It was a vacation,
right?
in the Northeast. It was like, here's the thing. Norm Macdonald, who's not in Grown Ups, but had a character in that, like, he was there for 3 months filming Grown Ups. And got cut out of the movie.
Completely out of the movie.
He was a character that every time there was a scene, he was supposed to be a guy they knew from childhood, and he would come up to them and be like, "What are you guys talking about? I'm late." And then he was like, "Oh, I'm going to get cut out of this movie."
But it was basically a free vacation.
It was a free vacation.
On like Paramount or whoever's dime, or whoever you had overall.
Sony's
right?
dime, yeah.
Sony's dime, yeah. That's amazing. That's what he took away from working with Paul Thomas Anderson, is basically a free vacation.
Yeah,
ripoff.
you could just do that, and then like, oh yeah.
It's so interesting. Not to spoil further things in the draft, that he's tried to go serious a few times, and this is definitely the time it's taken the best. I wonder why he got away from that. He
did the 9/11 movie, which is such a bad idea, And then what's crazy is he does Funny People, and he has all those joke posters on his wall, and it seems like he's trying to just make those joke posters now.
Absolutely.
It's really bizarh. His Merman movie has to be coming soon.
That's what he's taken away from Funny People. It's like,
he's like,
here's some great ideas for movies right here.
Can I have this wall?
All right, fantastic. Well, Devin, you led off with the draft. First pick of the first round is Punch Drunk Love, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, which means, Sean O'Connor, you have the second pick.
Now I know I have the 2 and 7 picks, so I'm going to reach, because I don't know if it'll be there at 7, but I need to have it on my lineup. I am choosing Billy Madison.
Billy Madison.
I have to choose it, okay? Because I am apparently the exact opposite of Devin. I couldn't love The Sandman more.
Yeah.
Billy Madison is a movie I watched every day after school. Like, I would get home from school, it's like 10 or 11, and I will watch it every single day. I hadn't watched it for like 12 years, and I watched it with a group of friends, and I still have that movie memorized.
Yeah. Oh, you're like, you can just say the line along with it every time.
The line along to the whole film. I love it. I think it's like an absurdist masterpiece. Like, there's so many weird things that happen in that movie, like when they break out into song.
Yeah.
So many great characters. I mean, you got Norm there, you got Chris Farley there, you got that guy who's only in this and The Wedding Singer. Oh my God. And yeah,
Bradley Whitford?
Bradley Whitford's
in it flexing on people?
Which I truly believe, like, I mean, Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore is probably the better villain, but Bradley Whitford is a more realistic villain.
He was pure.
Yeah, he was.
Pure shithead.
It was comedy for comedy's sake, and that's why I think Billy Madison is my favorite.
This is, I mean, in honor of, Sandler going 1-2 in this draft, by the way, is pretty amazing. And in honor of, but Buscemi's in it too, right?
Buscemi is in Billy Madison.
In it, yeah.
It's a twofer.
Wow, that's a twofer.
Very briefly,
he
right?
plays the sniper.
He plays the sniper who ends up saving the day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spoiler alert. Since you picked Adam Sandler with your first pick, now's a perfect. Can you tell the people about SandlerCon?
Yeah, so me and a group of friends did this thing where it was really my friends, Aloy and Nicole. They organized a 36-hour film festival that was only Adam Sandler movies. And it was like in chronological order. We skipped a few because like some are like, they're not really an Adam Sandler movie.
Like the 9/11 one.
Yeah, you had to be Punch Drunk Love to get in because that's good.
Yeah.
But you also had to be Happy Madison because that's bad.
Yeah.
So what we learned is that there's definitely a shift right at Little Nicky where everything goes to shit. Like, he kind of loses his charm because he does have, like, some charm.
Yeah. I mean, during like Wedding Singer leading up to Little Nicky was a fucking train wreck. It was such a weird movie.
Little Nicky's probably not getting pitched.
No, it's probably we could go for maybe 10, 15 rounds and it probably wouldn't be pitched. I remember I went on a camping trip with my dad and my little sister, and like we on a boat. We went like boat camping, and we had like a TV with a VCR built into it. And the only movie we brought was Little Nicky. So I ended up watching, because we rented it, so I ended up watching Little Nicky like 6 times. Because I was right in that fuck camping age, like 14.
Of course, yeah.
Like your whole, my whole life?
Yeah, your whole life. Yeah, I'm still in the fuck camping phase too. I kind of like it now because of drugs and alcohol, but like there's no way to do it without that. But yeah, Little Nicky. Terrible. How many of the movies at SandlerCon did you sit through?
So I left to go to a birthday party, went to sleep like a normal person, and came back in the morning just in time for like what I truly believe is like this. It's a tremendous, so bad it's good run. Yeah, that is his later years. Because like Don't Mess with Zohan is like so fucking weird. Yeah. It's like one of the weirdest movies. Jack and Jill is one of the weirdest movies. I mean, the plot of Jack and Jill is Adam Sandler's an ad man, and to save his job, he has to get Al Pacino to agree to be in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial for the Dunkachino. That's the plot. The sister thing is just because Al Pacino falls madly in love with his sister from afar.
And it's Adam Sandler playing his own sister, right? But in a fat suit.
In a fat suit. Yeah. It's so strange.
Such a brave performance.
But then you got Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. Yeah. And Grown Ups is the worst movie. Like, I saw Yoga Hosers last night, and that I thought it's like one of the worst movies. But Grown Ups is like so bad. But Grown Ups 2 it's kind of like the Dada movement of film. Like, it genuinely doesn't make sense on any level. It opens with a deer pissing in Adam Sandler's mouth.
Wow.
And it ends with Chris Rock dressed as Prince, Adam Sandler dressed as Bruce Springsteen, all of them dressed as 80s icons, karate fighting Taylor Lautner.
What?
Yeah, it's so weird.
I feel like if you put that to like slow piano music and made it like a grainy black and white kind of thing, instead it was from Czechoslovakia, people would be like, "Oh my god, this lost masterwork of film." You know?
There's a podcast, I don't know the name of it, but they watch Grown Ups 2 every single week.
Oh, it's the biggest mistake I've ever made, or something like that. It's called like something like that. Yeah.
Went crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing is like Grown Ups 2. I haven't seen it, but like. This is where I'm starting to get respect for Adam Sandler, the level of not giving a shit that is involved. And it's like when you see paparazzi pictures of him, and he's always like in sweats and stuff.
Oh, when you see David Letterman footage of him, he's in like sweats.
Yeah, he shows no respect to anything. And on top of that, is like the nicest guy in the entire world. Like,
that's what
he's like a really good guy.
And he puts all his friends on. I mean, he has friends who own houses just off of like showing up in his movies for a minute. You know?
Yeah, it's incredible. He never forgets where he came from. But I mean, like, he truly doesn't care. But Billy Madison, my first pick.
Billy Madison. All right, so that's the first two picks. We've got Punch Drunk Love and Billy Madison. I am now on the clock by virtue of Sean's choice as to where people go. So I'm going to go Stray for the first time from the Adam Sandler oof, and I'm going to go a Steve Buscemi movie, and I'm going to go with Reservoir Dogs.
Nice.
Oh, that's a good pick.
I'm going to go with the
It's good.
It's good. He's good. I love him in it too. He's been in a lot. I'm not to give anything away. He's been in a lot of amazing movies. He's actually in Reservoir Dogs. He's like a substantial part of it.
Mr. Pink.
Mr. Pink. Why does he have to be Mr. Pink? It's just a fantastic movie. Obviously directed by Quentin Tarantino. I love. I don't have anything really innovative to say about Reservoir Dogs. It's an amazing movie.
No, it's an amazing movie that, like, I mean, we're the same age, so it came out and it was like kind of like risque that we were watching it at the time. So it was like the first movies I ever saw that was just like nonstop killing, and then also people talking in a very cool way.
Yeah.
So Reservoir Dogs has always been like, yeah, that movie's fucking awesome.
It's crazy. I mean, like Quentin Tarantino. So going off on a real weird tangent here. When you're like younger, there's those movies you really like. I like South Park a lot.
Yeah.
Because I love the diarrhea jokes and how like chaotic it was. I loved Scarface, because it was like violent in it. But now as a 31-year-old man, like I'm not that into South Park anymore, and Scarface in a lot of ways seems ridiculous. But Quentin Tarantino movies were another one of those things where they seem rebellious and fun and like you were getting away with something. But I still love them. They've held up.
Yeah, no, there is. I mean, I can't really speak on Quentin Tarantino. I've seen all of his movies. I really like it. I feel like you would probably have a very interesting thing to say.
No, I love Reservoir. I love Tarantino. He's, I think, one of the great filmmakers of like all time, more or less.
Yeah, I would say all time.
Yeah.
I mean, like even his bad movies, and I think there's one bad movie, is still pretty good.
It's pretty good, and they're all watchable.
They're all super
and they're
watchable.
so rewatchable.
And what's really cool about it too is that it's so funny because when Reservoir Dogs came out, and then Pulp Fiction, there was this sense of like, oh, this is what Tarantino does.
Yeah.
And over the years, he's just like, no, like he's like, I'm going to do all this different shit. And like now he's doing these weird revisionist historical movies that are so far away from where he started. It's so cool.
It's such a fun phase. Inglourious Bastard. People talk shit about Inglourious Bastards because they're like, Hitler didn't get killed. And as
That's
a Jew,
like the best part.
I love that
so
shit.
great.
It's supposed to be
I
that.
love.
Yeah.
I was sitting there with my dad, who's the child of Holocaust survivors, and he was fucking digging it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if Ivan Karmel
was jerking off.
he was jerking off. He had his penis out. It was one of those living room theaters though that reclines, so I feel like it's allowed. I feel like it's like
The rules are more they're more lax in that situation.
Yeah, right. They're like they bring you like a moist towel, or dry one if you want to make it moist. And I fucking love that shit. And I mean, you can see the connective tissue all the way back to Reservoir Dogs. The cartoonish violence. It really is almost cartoonish. The Steelers wheel, cut the guy's ear off, set him on fire thing. Never really made me cringe. It was fun, but it wasn't like torture porn movies where you're like, oh, no.
Well, he does that thing where the camera just drifts off. So as it's about to cut, the camera just drifts off. So it doesn't really, I think it really works that way. But the violence side, what I love about the violence in Reservoir Dogs is that it's extreme, but it's also like sort of personal. So like Mr. Orange is like fucking dying very hard for a very long time. And it's really great. You really feel it. I totally love that.
Yeah,
It's
it really
agony.
is. Like, because when I watched that, I was like, I want to see every Tim Roth thing.
Yeah, right?
So great.
He's so great. But it was also, Reservoir Dogs is so great because every character, with the exception of Mr. Pink, is like just comes off cool.
Right.
Like they all like radiate coolness. Like, is it Mr. Blue who's the old one?
Yeah.
Yeah, even him, like he's doing almost nothing. I'm like, that is like what you dream to be when you're like 72. You're hanging out with a bunch of cool young guys. That's like the real deal, Harry Dean Stanton.
Everybody wearing skinny ties. Yeah. They all look like the Reservoir Dogs cast now. It looks like they're all walking out of a wedding in Portland. Like everyone's wearing a skinny tie and they look very cool.
Buscemi?
Go on, Sergio, please.
Buscemi is like, his character is the only one that makes it out alive at the end of the movie, too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right, Mr. Pink? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fuck yeah, Buscemi's a survivor, man. Buscemi, too, I know he's now plays like a lot of bug-eyed weirdos. If you see pictures of him when he was like really young, like early 20s, kind of a good-looking dude. Kind of like weird good-looking.
Yeah, weird
like the way
good-looking.
Black Licorice.
Like he was mysterious. Yeah. Like he's in the shadows.
He probably had a not to make it weird, but he probably had a really good body too because he was a firefighter.
Yeah, he was a firefighter.
Really? Well, here's the crazy thing about Buscemi. He was a firefighter, and on 9/11, he left his Brooklyn home and joined his old ladder company.
That's right.
To go rescue people from the rubble of the Trade Center. Wow.
He's a hero.
Oh, he's a real hero.
Yeah, he really is.
Doesn't talk about it. It's not a thing he brings up. You know what I mean? But he did that.
He just felt compelled.
He just got up.
Calling.
He watched that shit happen on TV. Got on got into the city and helped. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so far, I'm the only one who's picked one of his movies.
Well, so far we have Adam Sandler helping all his boys, buying houses and shit. Steve Buscemi is out there fucking on 9/11. This is like a really heroic draft.
It's a very heroic draft.
Really.
Yeah.
Just good dudes.
Just real good dudes.
So I'm guessing no one's picking a break.
Well, we're about to find out because with the fourth and final pick of the first round, we have Sergio Serna now on the clock in the Airheads draft.
All right, well, I'm going to get this baby back on track. I'm going to Sandman. And I'm going to take it. I'm Happy Gilmore.
Happy
That's my number
Gilmore.
one pick. And I just love that movie. I've loved it since I was a kid. Like, I'm a big hockey fan.
Yes.
And even though he spends a lot of time playing golf, he is a hockey player in that movie, and he's so funny. And I just loved seeing a movie with hockey in it that wasn't like the Mighty Ducks, I guess. And so that was like something that got me really like excited to watch that movie. And then I came for the
You're
hockey
really
thing.
focusing on hockey.
The rest of it,
Barely.
I don't even know if it's funny or whatever, but boy, there's like
As a hockey fan,
I'm just saying.
It's got a hook.
as the
That's
greatest
hook.
hockey film since Slapshot, I would
Yeah.
say.
I agree. Exactly. No, it is. Like, there's some great hockey. He hits the puck so hard. He shatters the glass. It's hilarious.
So if you only seen the first 5 minutes,
No, but other than that, I got roped into it in that way, and then it's just so funny. Like that scene when he's talking to his girlfriend on the intercom is so funny to me, and the reveal the next morning. I thought that scene was so funny. I was like 10 years old.
and
when I
Shooter
saw it.
McGavin's a great
Shooter
villain.
McGavin's amazing. He's such a great villain. He's such a piece
There's
of shit.
the weird,
Such a piece of shit. For
there's the
breakfast.
weird Ben Stiller storyline about like the nursing
Oh yeah, with the
home.
grandma.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so great.
Really funny. When the air conditioner falls on the
Yeah,
woman.
the Mr. lady. Yeah.
Those movies are so quotable. They're like, those Adam Sandler movies. It was interesting when you said the comedy for the sake of comedy. Who feels like the logical successor to that brand of comedy? Is it like it feels like maybe the Lonely Island dudes?
Yeah, I guess they're jokes first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Popstar a lot, but Popstar's like really joke forward. It's like less satirical and joke forward.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, because I just don't think we make.
Yeah, Hot Rod is just
Hot
it's
Rod.
just-
Hot Rod
it's
is
just
just
all
absurd.
jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hot Rod is exact. It even has like the same formula of the early Adam Sandler movies. So we need $10,000 for something.
Yeah. And let's go get it. And then that joke, it's just the tree you hang jokes off of, like Christmas ornaments. Are we in like a down phase for comedy movies? It kind of feels like it, right? I mean,
It's just been a shitty year for movies in general,
Yeah.
so it's hard to say.
but shit, like I was having this
But I like
conversation.
Popstar. I really like.
I like
that.
Yeah,
Popstar
I
was
loved
great, too.
Popstar.
Popstar was very
I think
funny.
that was my favorite comedy this year.
And I feel like it's one that you're gonna like. It's gonna get funnier every single time you watch it. Like,
Who is the dominant comedic leading actor or actress though right now? Like, I mean, you're like a Will Ferrell or like
Melissa
an Eddie
McCarthy
Murphy.
probably.
Yeah,
would
Spy
probably-
was fantastic.
Spy was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. Like MacGruber, I think it's kind of like a presidential election. I think once every 4 years, there's like a movie that comes out that probably shouldn't have been made. That's nothing but jokes. And
Most of the best comedies seem like they probably shouldn't have been made.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, and MacGruber to me was like a perfect comedy.
there's
so good.
MacGruber too.
Yeah, right.
I ran into Jorma Taccone and Taccone.
Taccone. Let's
Taccone.
yeah,
Jorma Taccone.
I think it's on you, Faraci. It's on you to
Faraci
decide.
said
Yeah.
Jorma Taccone. Because I was like, is this really like this is? We always hear rumors, but like nobody fucking saw MacGruber.
Yeah.
So like, is this? And it's really happening, and they have a script, and it opens with MacGruber in prison. So I'm really excited. MacGruber's like a perfect movie.
It really is.
It really is a perfect comedy. Does it feel like Adam Devine they're trying to make happen? Do we think that's going to happen? He's a nice guy. I did his Comedy Central show. He was great, but
he is a nice guy. But I feel like he always has to be too cool. He's like one of those guys that when he loses, he also wins.
Yeah,
and I think I think that's the thing that makes the early Sandler movies work compared to what happens recently. Is in those first movies, he's a loser.
Yes,
he's like a 28-year-old who lives with his grandma or his dad, and like everything's going awfully for him. But in the later movies, he's married to Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
Like, he was like a successful agent that moves back to his hometown in the only big house, and all of his friends are idiots.
Yeah. Right, he like looks down on him. You can't take a pie in the face when you're looking down on people.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why like Melissa McCarthy's good, is because she can be the butt of the joke. Because you like, in order to be like carry the thing, is you kind of have to be like a fool.
Yeah,
I mean.
And as you get too like Will Ferrell stopped being a fool, you know? Yeah. Great. Well, I mean,
Kevin Hart's the biggest.
Kevin Hart is Kevin Hart. I can't. Very racist of all of us. And
he doesn't really make our movie.
Yeah. But it kind of it's Kevin Hart and like The Rock a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The Rock is
not for The Rock is
The Rock is the ultimate movie star.
The Rock is the ultimate movie star.
I kind of want to see Kevin Hart's comedy special movie. This concert movie
that he did in like Philadelphia, in the football stadium.
It's intercut with like action scenes.
Yeah, is it
really?
Yeah, they showed. I saw like a 15-minute like reel of it, and it's him, but it's also like he's like driving a car real fast, and he's being funny while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Driving a car real fast. There's a helicopter chasing him. There's things blowing up. I don't know if it's just the intro to the movie or if this is cut throughout the movie, but it was like high quality. And if you look at the poster for the movie, it's Kevin Hart looking out across a destroyed city, where a question mark has been burned into the ground. It's a flaming question mark.
Oh my god!
It's like really like crazy.
Do you think
it's
he
a crazy
also
poster.
plays the villain? I bet he also plays the villain.
He might.
Yeah. Gets into an argument with or Romani Malco, and then they reprise their argument from 40-Year-Old Virgin. What, we're done with the first round already. It flew by, ladies and gentlemen. Punch Drunk Love, Billy Madison, Reservoir Dogs, and Happy Gilmore all off the board. Brendan Fraser sitting patiently in the waiting room still. We're not kicking off.
Like every audition room in Hollywood.
Poor Brendan. Sergio, you have the first shot at Brendan Fraser's salvation. You have the first pick of the second round.
Brendan Fraser, come on down.
What?
I'm going with, I'm taking it off the table.
Yeah.
The Mummy.
The Mummy's coming off the board. The Mummy's the fifth movie pick.
Hey,
What?
we're doing it.
Mummy?
I was ready to make fun of you when you said Encino Man.
Hey, the Mummy. Look, I'm getting nostalgic with it, but it brought me all kinds of thrills and chills when I was a child.
Love thrills and chills. Absolutely.
So many thrills and chills.
Many thrills and chills. You got some, at the time, groundbreaking special effects.
Yeah.
You got Brendan Fraser.
No, it was not. It was horrible. It was horrible at the
Brendan
time.
Fraser being real clever and he was like my Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it was like what if Indiana Jones had Down syndrome?
You got a smoking hot babe with Rachel Weisz. You got cool villain with the guy who's not Billy Zane. Yeah. It's great. It's a great movie.
You sarcastically picked it.
I am not. No, I love it. That movie is.
I had heard you say when I was ranting about how much I hate Universal Studios, you're like, the Mummy ride is pretty cool.
It's not bad. It goes backwards.
Made in 1999, as foretold in the Prince song. The Mummy. Budget $80 million, which was a lot. It made $415 million.
I mean, I just want to say, when you talk about the groundbreaking special effects, that The Matrix and Star Wars Episode 1 were both released that same year, and The Mummy looks like a Sega CD-ROM game. I just want to.
I wanted to say that
face
get in the sand. You never saw a face in the sand like you did in those movies.
When was the last time you watched The Mummy?
A month ago. No joke.
It's impossible. They don't even make that on DVD
it's
or
on
Blu-ray.
Netflix.
They've disappeared it.
I mean, everything connecting back to our man Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who later started to spin off the Scorpion King.
Big boost to the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
Also, more or less unwatchable.
Yeah, also really, but
Yeah.
for some reason, it sort of launched him into another echelon of stardom. So if you're listening at home and you want to vote for Sergio, you can sort of loosely attribute The Rock's career to The Mummy.
There you go.
Yeah, so
I thought you were going to address The Rock.
Yeah, so
if you're listening
The Rock,
at home, The Rock.
If you're listening, at
Yeah, hit me up at sergiocerna@gmail.com.
Sergio and I have been working on a Ballers pilot, and we would love for you to... This is spec script. Yeah, somebody gets lost on a boat. Nice. The Mummy. I will say. I will.
If you pick The Mummy Returns right now,
I wanted to go The Mummy, but I kind of think that's the superior movie. It's The Empire Strikes Back of the series. No, it is one of the few action movies other than The Mummy Returns available in this draft. Sandler and Buscemi not making a ton of big budget popcorn thrillers, except for one notable one. That's any more discussion on The Mummy? Any other takes?
I think I said all of my opinion on it.
Devin, you're I would say, at least in this room, the foremost expert on movies. Of all the movies ever made, where would you put The Mummy?
Oh, I would
just
be
like number wise.
It would be like let's just say we've made like 900,000 movies already. I'm gonna put it safely in the 750,000 range.
Not bad.
Like, I mean, like, you know, it's like the bottom third, but not like right at the
worst.
bottom. Like,
Yeah.
But right below that is all the Steve Buscemi.
All right, so number 700,000 on the all-time list. But number 5 in the All Fantasy Everything Airheads draft is The Mummy, which means I have the next pick in the Airheads draft, and I gotta look at this for 1 second. Oh my God! All right, I gotta dip back into the Buscemi pool, and I am now going to take Con Air.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was I wouldn't have taken it except it was on CMT the other night, which is country music television, and that is a terrible, eminently rewatchable movie. It is you can jump in at any point. John Cusack's in it wearing big khakis and sandals while fighting crime.
Yeah.
I think it's the only time sandals have been worn in a movie while fighting crime, which I think catapults it up the list. It's just so rewatchable, and Steve Buscemi is so creepy, but also one of the most redeemable characters in it, because though he plays a child rapist in the movie, he doesn't rape the one child we see him with.
That is the hero's journey.
He's free. At the end of the movie, he's in Vegas like playing roulette. It's amazing. Again, not raping any children. You know, he takes himself to a casino where you can't even have kids, you know, because he wants to get better.
Keeps him the temptation away.
He wants to get better.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like Con Air because it's one of the rare movies that is constantly restating the premise. That's why you can jump in at any point, where they're like, if you're just watching it and you see it playing with a bunch of like guys in prison jumpsuits, you're like, what happened here? 5 seconds later, there's a scene going like, we gotta get this prison playing.
I think Con Air is there's a really important piece of film history happening here. This is a time when we thought that John Cusack might be like an action star.
Right.
Like, how weird was that Hollywood decided that John Cusack might be an action star?
It's so weird. When I was talking about it at work the day after I saw it on TV, and I had to, like, for a second in my head be like, that was John Cusack,
That is John
right?
Cusack, right? Yeah, it's
That's
like
John
such a
Cusack?
weird role for him.
Yeah. He went on to be, like, to play, not action here, but, like, action-y, almost like indie action.
Well, like Grosse Pointe
Yeah,
Blank.
Grosse Pointe
Grosse
Blank.
Point Blank.
But like Con Air's action. Like,
Full
it's
blown.
exploding
It's
shit.
it's a
crashing
Bruckheimer
shit.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage, thick in that movie.
Oh, you got Nick Cage, you
Built.
got Cusack, you got Buscemi, you got Dave
Malkovich.
Chappelle,
Chappelle's
John
in it.
Malkovich.
Yeah.
It's a great cast.
It's a star-studded cast. Malkovich playing kind of a tough guy too, Cyrus the Virus. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is funny that the baddest guy of them all is John Malkovich.
John Malkovich, Hollywood Republican John Malkovich. It's so weird. In the movie, you kind of buy into it that like Cusack, Nicolas Cage, and John Malkovich are fighting. But if you saw Cusack, Malkovich, and Nicolas Cage fighting on the street, I feel like that would be one of the clumsiest fights of all time.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of wild swinging punches, some slapping. I bet there'd be some light
think-
Well,
slapping.
stop.
Cusack's tapping out early.
Here's where I will differ, and this could just be me being really stupid right now.
Okay.
But I buy Cusack as an action star, mostly because if you look at his whole career, in Say Anything, he's a kickboxer.
That is true. That is right.
So, like, instantly, like, you see him being a young kickboxer, yeah, theoretically he could become a cop or a hitman.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I never think of him as a kickboxer in that movie.
No,
never.
exactly, because like it's like such a throwaway. Like it's like, what's the most interesting thing a kid could be?
And in High Fidelity, he's an Army Ranger on leave, I believe, right?
He's a CIA wet work specialist who's deep undercover at a record store.
Yeah, he's been dispatched to kill Elliott Smith and make it look like an accident. All right, Con Air. Again, Steve Buscemi's in it, and I love him in it, but Nicolas Cage with that hair.
Oh, that hair.
That hair. Cameron Poe. Oh, my God. I love that movie. But we'll move on from Con Air discussion right now and get to Sean O'Connor, who has his second pick, the third pick of the second round.
With my next pick, I am going to be picking from Steve Buscemi, and I am going to take The Big Lebowski.
Perfect.
Yep. It's a really great movie. I mean, what can I say about The Big Lebowski that hasn't been written about countless times?
Incessantly,
or said by a bunch of people bowling, ironically.
Right, absolutely. Or like quoted in their Tinder profile.
Yeah. That's how good the movie is that these people can't ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good.
That's
Imagine
true.
a movie that's so good that these irritating people cannot ruin it. And they are trying so fucking hard.
So fucking hard.
Let me get a White Russian man while I'm over here bowling in my... They have Lebowski Fest every year.
Yeah, Lebowski Fest.
Yeah.
And, like, they celebrate, like, just extras in the bowling. Like, that guy has to take off his job at FedEx.
John Turturro has had a brilliant storied career, but the thing people think of him probably most is as the Jesus.
The Jesus.
Yeah.
Speaking of child rapists.
Yeah, speaking of child rapists. Yeah.
Back-to-back child.
Back-to-back child. Can we get a third?
The Mummy probably also had a lot of that.
Yeah. At least working somewhere on the movie, there were child rapists for sure.
Turturro is directing a movie about the Jesus right now.
Is he playing him?
He's playing
as
him.
well?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Yeah.
Playing the Jesus, and it's about...
It's a remake of a French sex farce about two thieves who meet a woman, and maybe they kidnap her, I'm not sure, and she's never had an orgasm, so they're competing to be the first person to give her an orgasm. Huh. Wow. So it's the Jesus in that story.
And at some point, he's probably exonerated from his child rape.
Well, that's the thing. I wonder is like, because the child rape thing is never clearly decided if it's true or not.
Yeah,
right. It's kind of like
innuendo.
It's chatter amongst friends who don't like him.
Yeah,
like how like at work we constantly are saying our one coworker's a pedophile.
Just for fun.
For fun, we like him.
Speaking of like Lebowski Fest and stuff like that, Devin, you've written about and I think gotten in some hot water on Twitter, which is just a place full of hot water, for talking about like fan fiction almost, right?
Yeah.
Talking about fandom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you consider like Lebowski Fest a form of like fan fiction or like fandom gone crazy?
It's fandom gone, but it's weird. I think Lebowski Fest is sort of like people who define their lives by how much they like bacon or pizza.
Yes.
And it's just like, this is a thing that's just because you don't have a personality doesn't mean that being that much into the Big Lebowski is going to actually gift you a personality.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like that is.
Yeah, it's what I like about Big Lebowski is that the fan base doesn't understand the irony of the character of the dude. The dude is not who you aspire to be. Right. The dude is kind of a punchline.
Right.
And everyone's like, that's how you live.
That's the guy. That's the philosophy I like. I want a rug that ties the room together just like he has.
It is. I mean, it's a beautiful movie too, with those dream sequences and everything. It is both hilarious and beautiful.
It's such a great movie, and it's a movie that I watched when I was younger, and I don't think I understood it. Like I watched it when I was like 12, and then when I was in my 20s, it was playing at midnight at the IFC. Like I was like 21, and I went, and I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
It's so fucking
it's
awesome.
so perfect. It's just so perfectly put together. And even though it's really, I mean, it's a stupid movie. I mean, purposefully a stupid movie, but it's like so smartly stupid. Only the Coen brothers can do that. I love it.
Oh yeah, Burn After Reading, kind of a similar thing. So dumb, but so smart.
But so smart about it. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. You've gone high culture, low culture with your first two picks, Billy Madison and The Big Lebowski.
That's me, baby.
Devin Faraci from Birth, Movies, Death, and from a special place in all of our hearts by this point in the podcast. You have your second pick, the final pick.
I was considering going with the Brendan Fraser, but now I felt bad.
I think we all. There's a lot of empathy in this room.
I just like he has it tough these days, so I felt like a lot. But I'm actually going to go with Fargo.
Beautiful. Back to back.
Because I just don't know that that's going to last. I don't.
It wouldn't have made it past
so deep. So Fargo, one of the great movies of all time.
Fully.
And Buscemi is incredible in it. I just love him in it, and I can watch that movie anytime, any day.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to have the best one.
The two of you definitely have the best list so far because Sergio and I have Con Air and The Mummy, respectively, on ours. Just a reminder, both of those went off the board before The Big Lebowski and Fargo.
I really feel like
a couple of fucking idiots over here.
Ethan and Joel Cohen are blowing their brains out.
Fargo is an amazing movie, and of course, it spawned now an amazing television show. Frances McDormand, just on fucking fire in that movie. She's so good. Steve Buscemi plays her partner in it, right? Is that right? I haven't seen it in a while.
He's one of the.
He's one of the bad guys. Yeah, that's what I said. That's
exactly what you said. I heard that.
We all heard it.
Yeah.
Sergio, jeez, chill. It's fucking. I heard the first time I saw Fargo, and incidentally, the only time I've seen Fargo was just a beautiful night in college. We went out, just broke, but we saved all our money up and went out to a steakhouse. And then we got college drunk and sat around and watched Fargo. Oh, we had been snowboarding earlier in the day. Just a pleasant day. I don't know.
Pleasant day. I had no idea you were such a cool dude.
Yeah, I was a pretty cool guy. I suck now pretty hard, but back then I was snowboarding and eating steak. Real men's rights activist of a man. The Fargo, deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant, and then placed in the Library of Congress.
Right next to the Mummy.
Yeah, right next to the Mummy.
That Sergio snuck in there.
And hid in a copy of Birth of the Nation. It's an amazing movie. Does anyone, it almost goes without saying. Does anyone else have anything to say about Fargo?
Everyone just brings it in that movie, from top to bottom. Like, everyone's so great. Buscemi, Peter Stormare. But like you're saying, like, Frances McDormand is she's so incredible. Like, I love that movie, and I really wish I picked that instead of the Mummy.
Because you definitely could.
Nice Peter Stormare pull off the top of the head.
He's great. I love him. I think he's great in everything.
We just had two of the Coen brothers' finest works. Where do those Fargo and Big Lebowski? They're jousting for the top position of their.
It's so funny.
Catalog, right?
You know what? The other day I was talking to somebody about somebody had said that the best Coen brothers movie was True Grit, which is, I think, a really weird position.
That is a weird opinion.
But then we started talking about, what is the best Coen Brothers movie? And there's no answer.
There isn't.
You can't. There's just no way. And from, minute to minute, your mind's going to change on which is the best.
Yeah, because with Tarantino, you can say, it's Pulp Fiction, right? Because that's, the easy one to pick out. It's maybe the most iconic. But there isn't. All the Coen Brothers movies
so good.
They're all sitting on the top shelf together.
Different.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think I like how they can bounce between genres and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Although the best one is probably Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing is really brilliant.
Yeah.
Fargo is really up there.
Lebowski. Raising Arizona is one of the funniest.
Raising Arizona is unreal.
Amazing. A Serious Man. If you're that's the one, right?
That's the very Jewish one.
That's the very Jewish one. Yeah, that came out at the same time as
Mystery.
A Single Man, which was the Tom Ford movie, and I always confused it. It's great if you grew up Jewish, which I did, and maintain a Judaism. It's amazing. It's so funny, and a lot of it hits home. And I've heard people who grew up actually in that era, it's a fucking carbon copy.
Even
of their lives.
A Serious Man is amazing, which people I think sleep on a little bit. Even movies like The Man Who Wasn't There, I think that is a really weird one.
Yeah,
is terrific. If you go back and rewatch that, it is terrific.
Well, even the Lady Killers too, which was which I think people would maybe point to.
I maybe have to
as their worst movie, right?
I think that's their worst movie.
Yeah, that's their worst movie, but it's also an okay movie.
Intolerable Cruelty.
That one's bad.
That's hard to justify.
That one is as bad as they can get and it's still
Which is a
probably a
pretty
movie
high-
you'd watch on an airplane.
Yeah, I would definitely watch
It's still
that
a
on
movie that
airplane.
Brendan Fraser wishes he was in.
Yeah.
God, he would kill to be in that. Well, speaking of Brendan Fraser, Devin, you have the first pick of the third round, and the option of Wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right.
He has the first pick.
You have the first pick of the third round, and the option to alleviate some of Brendan Fraser's.
I'm gonna do it. I've been thinking
some of the
about it a
intolerable
lot.
cruelty that's been demonstrated to him.
I'm gonna do it. I've been thinking about it. I'm gonna pick a movie that I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with or not. A movie called Gods and Monsters.
Gods
and
monsters.
Our friend Ben has an impression of Sean Connery at the 1998 Golden Globe.
Shout out to Ben Hoffman.
So then you are familiar. Okay. I love that movie. It's maybe the only really great performance anybody ever got of Brendan Fraser.
A biopic, right?
It's a biopic about James Whale, the guy that directed Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein may be one of the greatest movies of all time. And James Whale was a closeted gay man in Hollywood. And this is about his later life. Ian McKellen plays him. And Brendan Fraser is like the pool boy that comes to live with him, and it's this tension and old Hollywood, new Hollywood, gay, straight, and youth, age. It's really great. Bill Condon directed it, who's a really good filmmaker. I think it's just a really wonderful movie, and I want to get a good Brendan Fraser movie. And
That's good.
That'd be nice. I feel like
That's the only bottle of top shelf Brendan Fraser available.
I was thinking about
know about
School
that.
Ties. Because
Great, I really like School Ties.
He doesn't like Jews, so that's very recognizable for
You
most
attached to
Americans.
that?
Yeah, most Americans get that.
Most of you're going for the Trump demographic, yeah, for the cuckheads.
But
Yeah,
no, I'm gonna stick with Gods and Monsters.
Gods and monsters.
And I will say that is upsetting because I was about to select Gods and Monsters.
You were gonna take it?
just to do Gods and Monsters quiz. It's a movie I have never seen. I just read a Wikipedia page about it like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I want to see that.
it was released. Have you seen it yet?
No.
I haven't seen it either. I think maybe it was released in 1998. Also, Ian McKellen's in it. It seems like Lynn Redgrave. What a fucking name that is. Lynn Redgrave. Everyone say Lynn Redgrave. Not at the same time, just separately.
Lynn Redgrave.
Really lean into it. Get some velvet in your voice.
I can't do that.
Well, as much as you
I have vocal fry.
Yeah. Well, say it with vocal fry. Let's hear it.
Lynn Redgrave.
It's fun. It's fun. Devin?
Lynn Redgrave.
Ooh, I like that. Sergio.
Lynn Redgrave.
Oh, okay.
Are you doing an impression of
You
me?
put kind of a fun... you put a fun California spin on it. Yeah. Lynn Redgrave. All right. Fantastic. Well, the Lynn Redgrave movie, Gods and Monsters, which also features Brendan Fraser, the first movie off the shelf in the third round, which means Sean O'Connor.
All right.
Time to add to your collection of Billy Madison and The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, it's going to seem controversial, but I have to go Mummy Returns. I'm just kidding. Okay. That would be a mistake.
Yeah.
That would be a mistake. But I will say I'm definitely going to take, with my third pick,
Yeah.
The Wedding Singer.
Ooh, The Wedding
I
Singer.
think it is. I mean, like, here's why. It's my mom's favorite movie.
Okay.
She loves The Wedding Singer, and it's like, as a kid, I remember it was actually the first movie I was ever disappointed in.
Yeah.
Because, like, something happens when you're a kid, you get so excited about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, you go in. It's like why I hated Anchorman the first time I saw it. Because I was like, this movie's going to be amazing. And it was like, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
Right.
But now I like Anchorman. But The Wedding Singer, I went in thinking it was going to be Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison. And now he's like a sweet guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like,
it was
He's
a little
trying
bit
to
of
cross
a...
over a little bit.
It was
Yeah.
a crossover film, and I didn't like it at first. But then my mom loved it. And she would watch it, like, and I would be there, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. But then I started watching it, and I'm like, oh, I really like The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
It gets great performances out of Adam Sandler, Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi's in it, another double dipper.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
John Lovitz.
John Lovitz has a great villain.
I would
in
love to
Glenn
hear him
Julia.
say Lynn Redgrave.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Lynn Redgrave.
Thank you for stopping by, John. Well, your mom loved it. She was probably a lady about town in the 80s.
In the 80s,
yeah.
she was a prostitute. In the 80s. Constantly getting in and out of DeLoreans.
Also, what is Adam Sandler's friend's name who has kind of a bigger role in it? His friend who dresses like Michael Jackson.
Alan Covert. It was the first appearance of Alan Covert.
Yeah. And it's a kind of a lot of Alan Covert.
It is. He has one funny line in it where it's definitely just his lack of acting ability.
Yeah.
But he says, "They were coons." I really like that. The soundtrack's great.
Yeah.
It's a big movie for karaoke.
Yeah. A gigantic movie for karaoke. Yeah. It also has like one of those... I know it's set in 1985, but it's not really set in 1985. Right. It's like one of those things where it's set in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah,
because like
just
the Time to Make
general.
the Donuts commercial came out in 1981, and they're still watching it to be like...
oh my God, that played...
That did probably play
nonstop. As a New Yorker, that played nonstop. The Time to Make Donuts commercial.
Oh,
so
okay.
I will give them the pass. On
that yeah, listen, it's approved.
I'm a New Yorker. I was living in New York in the 80s, 100% nonstop.
Well, then
this is Long Island, right? Isn't that where it's set?
Yeah, Long Island.
Yeah.
No.
Right?
Upstate New Jersey.
Is it, okay, yeah. So
it's New Jersey. It's set. This is actually interesting. It's set in the same town as Blended is set.
Really?
So is Blended a sequel to The Wedding? Is there an Adam Sandler verse?
No. Oh, there is definitely an Adam Sandler verse. There's a lot of carryover now, and his band member, played by Alexis Arquette, is also in Blended as the same character, a little older, obviously, but then she's the announcer for like the Little League game they go to.
Wow.
Yeah. Blended is technically a sequel to.
Is somebody writing Adam Sandler verse fan fiction? Are they like creating the connective tissue?
We at SandlerCon we've kind of started piecing this together. There's like a lot of characters that come back. Like 50 First Dates is attached to Jack and Jill.
Really?
Yeah. So those are set in the same universe.
You know how Stephen King did The Dark Tower, and then all of his books are connected to it?
Yeah.
What is going to be Sandler's Dark Tower?
Oh, yeah, the skeleton key.
I'll tell you what it wasn't. Pixels.
Fuck, The Wedding Singer. That is a good movie. That's kind of the end of his peak.
It is.
You know?
Yeah, because then he went too sentimental with Big Daddy.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so you had...
Got too saccharine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good ass pick. You now have Billy Madison, The Big Lebowski, and The Wedding Singer.
Sounds like my DVD collection.
It sounds like a Blockbuster's going out of business. It's now on me. It's time for my third pick, the third pick of the third round. And I am going to go, again with Steve Buscemi, but I'm going to make the first foray out of the world of movies and into the world of television. And I'm going to take The Sopranos, which he was on. He played Tony Blundetto, a criminal released from prison who was part of the Soprano crime family, trying to get his life back together.
Very bad at it, and
very bad at
forced Tony to kill him eventually.
Yeah, right, exactly. Buscemi killed by Tony Soprano. It's just such a good show.
I've never watched The Sopranos.
You've never? You're from New Jersey.
So I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of like all the kids I went to school with. I think their dads were definitely connected. And when I was like 11, when all of these movies started coming to us, I decided that I was like, I'm never going to watch these movies.
Yeah.
And now
when you say these movies, why don't you be a little more specific
these
for a second?
Italian pieces of shit.
Why don't you be more specific about the exact movies that you haven't seen?
I've never seen any of the Godfather films. I've never seen Goodfellas. I've never seen The Sopranos.
Yeah,
these are all pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Worth checking out.
You kind of can't go wrong with watching those.
Yeah. But you did, as admitted earlier in the podcast, see 36 hours of Adam Sandler movies.
And I've also seen every direct-to-video American Pie movie.
That's right.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I guess that's a weird hole to have, but you didn't choose The Mummy?
That's true.
So,
that's true.
I mean, you have that hole, but you didn't
don't
choose
look
The
that
Mummy.
bad.
But honestly, After this, I think eventually this year I'm going to sit down and do it.
The Sopranos is amazing. The Sopranos, and there's so many good. I mean, aside from Steve Buscemi, who we'll be honest is not like a pivotal character in the show, but a really good one. So many amazing performances, not just from Gandolfini, but I mean, like so many different people. It's so fucking good. Probably the birth of prestige television as we know it right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it launched, I mean, the thing where like some of the best, art on film is now being made just for television. And it kind of started with The Sopranos.
It also kickstarted Don't Start Believing into being like the song that's so overplayed now. Because you hadn't heard that for like 10 years.
Right.
Now it's as big as Living on a Prayer or bigger.
I didn't mind.
It's like the Cheese Dick song.
It's such a Cheese Dick song. It's such a fucking New Jersey-ass Cheese Dick song.
It really is. Like, it truly is. Like, like a girl, Tiffany, is singing it in the bar.
Getting a lot of the lyrics wrong. I fucking love this. The Sopranos was so big at some point, like Italian food restaurants would just have these nights, like on Sundays, where it's like, come on in and watch it, and we'll give you Italian food. They called marinara gravy, which was the first time I'd ever heard. Well, maybe Goodfellas was the first time.
That's what we do. We call it gravy.
Yeah, you guys call it gravy, right? The fuck is that about? Gravy is gravy, isn't it?
No, gravy, that's for white people.
What do you guys...
Gravy, this is different.
What do you guys call, like, Thanksgiving gravy?
I guess we just call it gravy, too.
That's also gravy.
Yeah, like, we're not that bright. It's fine.
It's like how...
I would call marinara sauce Lynn Red Gravy.
Laser! Shout out to Pete Holmes. Or I'm just co-opting Laser. All right, so I took the Sopranos with my third pick. Sergio, it's time to build on the empire that you've started putting together with the Mummy pick.
I really don't want you guys to hate me after this.
We'll not hate you.
But I gotta go with from Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I was worried for a second because I didn't. Okay, I love that. I love that movie. It's awful. It's terrible.
It's fucking great though.
There are like bizarre moments, like the animal crackers scene, and
that is weird.
It's just so like I remember watching it when I was a kid.
Killer Aerosmith song.
Oh, yeah. All right. This is something that I've been too embarrassed to admit, but my first CD I ever bought with my own money was the Armageddon soundtrack, and it was just so I could listen to that song, even though it was already on the radio all the time.
Mine was
but you didn't want to miss a thing.
I didn't want to miss a thing.
You coming halfway through that song, you missed several things. Yeah. My first, that's a good, I mean, we'll go off on this tangent really quick. My first was Jock Jams that I bought with my own money.
You're ready for this.
Yeah, I was too. I was fully ready for it. Sean?
Mine was Best of Queen.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Devin,
do you remember?
I'm old, so it was vinyl, but it was Pink Floyd The Wall.
Oh, God, cool. You guys both have fucking cool ass ones. Armageddon soundtrack and Jock Jams. We also have the worst list so far.
What do you think is the worst of the four? I think it is the Armageddon soundtrack.
Yeah.
What other song was
it? It was like that ZZ Top song.
Oh, good.
It was all awful. It was the Aerosmith version of Sweet Emotion.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it was a bunch of like
Leaving on a Jet Plane.
Yeah, that. I think it was
one of those
like
soundtracks where it's like songs from and inspired by.
I think it might have been
picture.
Yeah.
So like, it isn't even in the movie. It's just shit they put on there,
as well as like pieces of score from throughout the movie. Yeah, it was just,
I think Buscemi in Armageddon is amazing because he has the same problem that Ren has in Ren and Stimpy. They both have space madness.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Ren and Stimpy where he gets space madness.
It's great. He's the best character in Armageddon by far. Like, his storyline's incredible. Like, taking money out to go to a loan shark because he doesn't know he's going to die.
That's what I would do. It's nice to see a scumbag. You know what I mean? Like, in a heroic movie. Yeah. That was fucking, that's a Michael Bay, Jerry Bruckheimer banger.
And a good cast, too. I mean, you got Michael Clark Duncan. I mean, obviously Bruce Willis.
Rest in power,
Affleck,
Michael Clark Duncan.
Owen Wilson,
right?
Yeah. Owen Wilson,
Briefly.
Liv Tyler,
Tyler.
Liv Tyler.
Peak Liv Tyler.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's great.
William Robert Thornton. Yeah.
I like the premise of the movie. I like the idea that it's easier to train miners to be astronauts than astronauts to fucking run a drill. Yeah. I like that premise. I really, they just stuck with it.
It's probably true.
You think an astronaut just couldn't run a drill?
You just send them up there.
It's like, here's a drill. You're an astronaut. Like, figure it out. Like,
no, they don't have the grit.
I mean, a lot of them are physicists.
They're either fighter pilots or physicists. They could have just sent fighter pilots up there. They probably would have been fine. Part of the, of course, asteroid movie wars of 1990, whatever that, 1998. With Armageddon and Deep Impact. Yeah.
Deep Impact being like the realistic one.
Right.
Right, a little more grounded, which is what we want out of asteroid disaster movies. Armageddon's a fun fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's a very 90s movie, too.
Yeah.
When was the last time did you see it recently?
I think the last time I watched it was about a year ago.
Yeah.
It's easy to watch because you know how awful it is, but it's like so much fun.
I'm so excited as the guy who's never seen Godfather and Goodfellas to not have the shittiest taste.
Well, I think that this is the first movie we've chosen so far that's on the Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
Yeah, Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon's a Criterion movie. So
Lebowski and Fargo haven't gotten Criterion?
no, they don't license it out. They make too much money.
They just existed as Criterion movies anyway.
yeah,
They're
but
just-
this is officially the
Criterion.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And
that
The Rock.
Armageddon-
The Rock also is a Criterion.
right.
Yeah.
He's Michael Bay, innovative action movie director. Yeah. I like the animal cracker scene. Going back to that, it's kind of. I mean, like graham crackers were initially invented as an anti-masturbatory device, and then here they are in the form of animal crackers. Very sexualized.
Very sexual.
Very sexual. Like, it looked like Affleck. It was Affleck, right?
It was
Yeah,
Affleck,
Was going to put the animal cracker in her vagina.
Yeah, I think
And then
that's
go
what
after
was
it.
implied with the belly button.
Yeah.
Next up, pussy.
Or
In
he was
public,
fucking her
too.
belly button.
Yeah.
Could have been one or the
Also
other.
true.
He just wasn't that bright. He didn't know.
Not that bright.
Didn't know.
Maintains that level, too. Although he's probably pretty smart, but was very drunk on that episode of Any Given Wednesday. Sergio, so you just picked Armageddon with the final pick of the third round. You also have the first pick of the fourth round. Where are you going?
All right, this might be cheating, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going Saturday Night Live.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Wow.
I'm going with the American Institution.
Holy shit.
Saturday Night Live. So many great characters and people have come out of that show.
Are you going the Adam Sandler or Steve Buscemi is possibly a guest
As a
host?
guest, I think let's do the Sandler.
Sandler version.
I got to go back to Sandler. Yeah.
It didn't even occur to me to do that. Keep talking. I'm trying to interrupt you.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got so many. I mean, obviously, we all watched it growing up, and it's had its ups and downs, but it's remained like the best sketch comedy show on Saturday nights.
I mean, Saturday Night Live is one of the funniest shows ever.
Yeah.
Still not as funny as you taking the Mummy second.
You now officially have Charles Rocket.
That's true.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wait,
Charles
who
Rocket.
votes on who wins?
Just
listeners?
a blue ribbon panel. Yeah. The listeners.
The listeners. So the Midwest is all for
Oh, big time Sergio.
Sergio's so down the middle. He's like, you like sand faces?
Hockey, sand faces, animal crackers.
I'm an everyman.
You are an everyman. You are every woman. Saturday Night Live, fucking. I mean, what can even be said about it? It's almost too big to boil down to a discussion.
Church lady, Bobby Moynihan,
Yeah,
kitty
Church
cat
lady,
astronaut.
Bobby Moynihan.
The two most iconic characters. Church lady and Bobby Moynihan. Kitty cat astronaut.
Oh, shout outs to Bobby Moynihan. Who are your favorites? This is Adam Sandler. Who are some of your favorite Adam Sandler characters from Saturday Night Live?
I mean, I love the Gap girls. Those girls are funny.
They are for the God damn them
Character?
He's taking your Midwestern suggestion and running with it.
Great, the Gap girls.
Yeah.
I loved Opera Man.
Yes.
Anytime Adam would come on the Weekend Update and just play a little song.
I liked Gilby. Do you remember the character of Gilby? He was like a concert reviewer.
No, I don't remember that.
Every
character.
time he was reviewing a concert, like Norm would be like, "Well, how was the Rolling Stones thing?" He was like, "As soon as they hit the chord for you can't always get what you want. I was thrown out of Madison Square Garden and beat mercilessly." So every concert just got the shit kicked out of him. It's a really funny character.
Since you picked Saturday Night Live via Adam Sandler, I'm now going to ask you to do your famous Adam Sandler impression for the listeners, if you wouldn't mind.
Let's see if I can even do it.
This, I have to remind you, this is not Adam Sandler in the studio. This is Sergio Serna. The headphones came off.
I can't stop going to the bathroom. I can't stop going to the bathroom. I can only say that one line.
Now do your Owen Wilson for Armageddon.
There's nothing like having your first dog.
Two flawless impressions. Do you want to get, what's the lady with the Stifler's mom?
Oh, yeah. Jennifer Coolidge?
Jennifer Coolidge, just while we're...
Oh my god.
So you got two impressions.
We're not going to tell you which two.
I'll take it.
All right, so Sergio striking oil with that Saturday Night Live. That is a good pick. We're now moving on to me. This is my fourth pick, the second pick of the fourth round, and I am going to draft the titular movie of this particular podcast. I'm taking Airheads. I fucking love Airheads.
Yeah. Great movie.
Is it a great movie?
It's a great movie.
Thank you guys for saying that. Because I love it, and I don't know if I have good taste or not.
It's of that time of dude movies. Like
Dude movies. Yeah.
Wayne's World, Bill and Ted, Airheads.
Yeah, just dude friends. You know what I mean? Sometimes there were girls involved, but it wasn't about that. It was about friendship.
And it's like dudes, not bros.
Yeah.
I want to make that distinction.
Yes.
Dudes, not bros.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is the distinction between? Because there is one.
Nobody in Airheads is going to date rape anybody.
Yeah.
That's the distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah, like dudes are kind of like losers, but
Right.
they all they want to do is have fun
Right.
and get successful, which
Yeah.
is actually a weird trait to give the dudes.
There's a bunch of
But,
slacker dudes.
They're
Yeah.
slacker dudes, but like Wayne and Garth are like slackers, but they also want to make money with their own
Right.
TV show. They're
Bill
kind
and
of
Ted,
driven.
yeah.
Bill and Ted want to be in a band.
Right.
Airheads, they want to be in a band.
Yeah.
Like, but they shouldn't want anything. They're great.
They were motivated. They weren't really slackers, even though it was the slacker generation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not one. It's true. I just love that movie. It's a fun. It was on Comedy Central. I feel every day when we were growing up. You know what I mean? Like just like every day. I watched it so many times. I still one day aspire to squirt hot sauce onto a burrito with a water gun. And now it's almost like a historical document because of them like breaking into a radio station when that was still a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if that happened now, it might not be on the news. Yeah.
No, yeah. They're like, okay, yeah, you now own 98.7.
Yeah, fine, have it. You also inherited all of our debt. Yeah.
You had Michael Richards as like the John McClane character, which is super cool. That was great. Judd Nelson.
Chris Farley was in it playing that cop.
Oh, yeah.
Really funny. Another little Chris Farley role. Brendan Fraser was cool in that movie.
Yeah.
He was. That was one of the better long hair Frasier films.
Yeah. Maybe the best long hair Fraser film. I just loved it. It made me want to be in a rock band when I was a chubby little kid in Beaverton, Oregon. It was just fucking cool. Brendan Fraser banged super hot girls, and Adam Sandler wanted to, you know. But this is the girl who worked at the radio station.
Yeah,
they had
the
that really
blonde
weird
girl.
flirtation.
Yeah, they had that weird flirtation. I just remember when they walk in and Adam Sandler covers his penis with his like beanie.
Yeah. His very thin. It almost looked like a stocking cap kind of beanie, or almost like a do rag.
It was almost like a knitted yarmulke.
Yeah.
I love the song in Airhead. Their song Regenerate.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
They played at the prison at the end of the movie. It fucking kicks ass.
Yeah.
It's kind of actually cool.
Airheads is a good movie.
Airheads is a good ass movie, and I buy those three as a band.
Yeah,
you know, Brent.
totally.
They have one of them is good looking. You know, Brendan Fraser.
He's the lead singer.
Yeah.
Buscemi is like the one.
Buscemi looks like everyone from Death Clock. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Degenerated. I have the Wikipedia up here right now. The song played by the Lone Rangers in the film was originally by hardcore punk band Reagan Youth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
did not know that.
Yeah, shout out to Reagan Youth on the podcast here. Yeah, I love Airheads. Happy I could pick it. Sean O'Connor.
I didn't know it was up for grabs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah. Would you have picked
I don't think
it
I was
already?
going to pick it, but I didn't know it was up for grabs.
It was up for grabs when I took it.
With my next pick, which I believe is my fourth pick,
It is your fourth pick.
I am going to pick from Steve Buscemi.
Yes.
Monsters Inc.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I really like Monsters Inc. I think it's a great Pixar movie. It's like not in my top 5, but I really like it, and I genuinely can't pick a Brendan Fraser film.
Come on, Dudley Do Right.
Yeah.
I really like it. Buscemi gets to, like, it's a voice acting role, but still he gets to play a creep.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Randall Boggs.
It's got my least favorite comedian of all time, Billy Crystal.
You love Billy Crystal.
I love Billy Crystal. I love John Goodman. It's cute. It's fun. It's a great kids movie. Monsters Inc. Come aboard.
Great James Coburn movie.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I've never seen Monsters Inc.
Really?
I don't know why. I have an animation hole in my resume.
Way better than Monsters University.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Which it seems opposite. Like you'd go to university, and that would be the logical step
It
up.
was a prequel.
Yeah. It's not a top 5 Pixar movie for you.
No, I think Pixar movies for me. I think I go Ratatouille.
Bugs Life 1 through 5.
Cars 2.
Yeah.
I like Ratatouille, Toy Story 3, Up.
Yeah.
The Incredibles. And then I guess I would go Monsters Inc.
And then Monsters Inc. How many of those do you cry through? Just Up or a few of them?
Toy Story 3,
yeah.
I mean, everyone has said it, but I truly believed they were going to die. I really did.
They're fucking savage. They just kill all your... Thanks for your money, kids. I love a good movie cry. I'll watch that first scene from Up on an airplane and weep.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the only time I cry at movies now is at airplanes. I mean, I don't even know if I like movies I'm watching on an airplane and I'm just bawling. Like, I saw Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. I don't know if I liked that movie, but I know I cried a lot.
The first time I experienced that phenomenon, I was watching The Man Without a Face and just bawling. I was probably like 11 years old on like an airplane, just like, why?
I was on an airplane next to this really attractive woman, and I was watching Sing Street. And I started crying at a scene in Sing Street, like out of nowhere, and then she had to go to the bathroom, and so I'm like, to this crying fat guy next to her.
Turned on to your sensitivity,
but like I just have I'm like trying to play it cool, like no, I'm not sitting on a plane crying to a movie right now.
Yeah,
but you can't. Like that's the thing about crying on a plane. Like
you're just there's nothing.
No, you're doing the two-handed thing. Where you're wiping both eyes.
What you have to do is grab the barf bag, pretend like you're barfing, and then wipe your face while you. That's the move. Yeah. Then the lady would have stayed.
Yeah.
Sidebar, if any of these 3 people were in Sing Street, I would have picked Sing Street.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. So you picked Monsters Inc. Devin Faraci. You have the final pick of the 4th round.
I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna keep it Buscemi. I'm gonna go with Ghost World.
Ghost World, very nice.
Ghost World. His character.
I forgot.
Cool fucking pick.
His character in that movie is a character I identify with in a profound way.
Yeah.
As a guy who makes a living writing about all the shit that I like, my hobbies and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he says, "I hate my interests." And I feel that same way. Where I feel like the stuff that I'm into is like a curse as opposed to like a gift.
Yeah,
and I love that about that character. I've never seen that in a movie before.
You got to see yourself reflected in
it's such
a art. That's nice.
It's such a profound way because he's a guy that collects these old jazz records and stuff that he knows that nobody else in the world gives a shit about.
Yeah,
and he feels that it's a curse on him, and I love that. You never see that.
He's great. I mean, Steve Buscemi is a dynamic actor. Certainly the most dynamic actor of these 3.
Yeah, I would say.
Brendan
Fraser,
to be somebody who can do Con Air, Armageddon, and then his character in Ghost World, it's just so great.
Yeah, he's very versatile. And his son is super cool. His son was like in a super cool punk band in New York when I lived there.
Really?
He was like 14 years old, but they would always play at Soundfix, and they were like these 14-year-olds who were playing like cool punk music. Yeah. And then one of, I think their guitarist or their drummer looked exactly like Steve Buscemi.
Do you think he tells me like, oh, my dad's a firefighter?
Yeah. You know what I mean? 9/11 hero, no more question. But yeah, Ghost World is so great.
It's such a great movie.
Great.
Yeah, it's like the last time, it's not the last Brad Renfro film, but it's like one of his last big roles, isn't it?
One of his last big roles, yeah, I would say. And it's like peak Scarlett Johansson.
Peak,
it really is.
Yeah. Peak Scarlett Johansson and only Thora Birch.
Yeah.
Or not only, but you know, yeah.
Yeah, it was so, that was like, was it after American Beauty?
It was, American Beauty, she was... So here's my creepy story about American Beauty is that she was 16 in that movie.
That's
and
right.
her parents had to sign off on her being topless, and since her parents were porn stars, they were pretty okay with it.
They were like, let me sign that with my dick.
Her dad's prehensile penis, which can grip a pen. That's how
Oh, yeah, because Thora Birch was like a big part of my childhood because she was like in, was it?
Hocus Pocus?
She wasn't Hocus Pocus. She was in Now and Then.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think Now and Then is a movie that you could make now and it would be...
I love Now and Then. Yeah.
But yeah, she was a big part of my childhood. So when American Beauty came out, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to see my crush naked. And then I saw it and I was like, okay. And then I saw Ghost World and she was exactly like every single girl I was attracted to.
That's the thing. Enid Coleslaw is sort of like, I think there's probably like a wide swath of guys who are chasing after that one specific girl their whole life.
Of course. 100%. Like, as I was watching Ghost World, I was like, enough Scarlett Johansson. Thora Birch is speaking.
She is. I mean, she is like that's an iconic role. Now and Then, probably a lot of when they were little girls liked that movie, and then when they got older, got into Ghost World. The two very iconic movies.
Her in the Batgirl mask. In the Batgirl, she's wearing the Batgirl.
Oh yeah,
good Lord.
Total. I mean, biggest nerd. Meltdown for a while. The comic book shop here in Los Angeles was just like a church of Enid Coleslaw.
It really was.
Yeah.
I had a friend who would go see Enid Coleslaw for Halloween a lot, and I was just like, I'll marry you right now. Like,
you have to keep the mask on.
Yeah, just keep the mask on, but let's get married.
Fantastic pick, Devin. Ghost World. Now we're on to the 5th round, and your final pick of the Airheads draft.
This is hard. I don't know because a couple of my picks have been taken out from underneath me.
Yeah, that's the game, baby. I'm gonna try to do that as my catchphrase.
Yeah,
you guys like it?
That was really good.
That's the game. That's the game, baby. Kind of Duke Nukem me.
Oh fuck! You know what,
baby?
I'm gonna take a page from your book.
Fuck yeah.
The Simpsons.
Oh nice. Shit!
I just drafted The Simpsons.
Oh, shit. In the 5th round.
Which particular, the Steve Buscemi in The Simpsons?
Sure.
Adam Sandler's probably done it too. I mean, it must have been Buscemi.
Buscemi definitely is in The Simpsons.
Because I don't think Brendan Fraser's done a voice for it.
And I don't think Sandler has.
Yeah.
No, it's Buscemi. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Who's Buscemi in The Simpsons? I mean, it's fair game.
He's a character named Dwight. I literally have no idea. I'm just like, all my picks are gone, and I'm like going through IMDb, and I was like, fuck, we can do like cultural institutions.
SNL really opened everything.
It did. So fuck it.
And now SNL looks like the shittiest thing.
He was in, I looked it up. I looked it up on my laptop computer. He was in an episode, I Don't Want to Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, during the 19th season, 2007.
Maybe not peak Simpsons.
For the second time in the series, Marge helps a prison assailant. Marge meets Dwight.
Second time in the series. God, that just sums up late period Simpsons.
But written by our boy Dana Gould.
Oh,
this
wow.
particular episode, so it was probably really funny. He plays a guy named Dwight who attempts to rob a bank that he and Marge are in, and Marge promises she would visit him in prison if he turns himself in, and then she breaks her promise. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Sounds like it has heart at the end.
So this 2007 episode that you grab the tail of, and you pull it out of the ground, and there it is.
There it is.
The greatest television show of all time attached to the other.
That completes a very successful draft.
Yeah.
Man, now I'm thinking, like, was he on Seinfeld ever?
Right. I'm going to do a 6th and 7th round pick right now, too, by the news.
I'm taking the Oscars, guys.
So that gets me the Lord of the Rings and on the waterfront. Pretty amazing pick. I mean,
it really is.
What's the point even discussing The Simpsons?
Yeah.
If you've made it this far on this podcast, I'm assuming you're the type of person who also loves The Simpsons.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite show of all time.
Yeah, it's the
most
greatest.
important thing to me in the whole world.
The Simpsons and Seinfeld. Oh my God.
It was
Jesus.
picked right before. I wouldn't have picked that because I would have never guessed it.
So The Simpsons, Devin, is your fifth pick. I just like to remind everyone that Sergio took The Mummy second. Any other discussion on The Simpsons or on how Steve Buscemi? I would have assumed for some reason he would have been in it earlier. But maybe it's because he looks like a Simpsons character.
Well, it is funny because like he was so big in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like just it was everywhere and so cool in the 90s that you would think that he would kind of play a Buscemi-esque character then.
Right?
But it took forever to get him in there, huh?
He was too busy working probably until 2007.
Look at his 1994.
Yeah, look at his. Let's pull it up right now.
It's unreal, his 1994.
Yeah, I was actually scrolling through his filmography on Wikipedia, and it took me forever to get to the year 2000.
Yeah. He's done so many movies. All right, Steve Buscemi's 1994. He did. Oh wow, the Hudsucker Proxy. He appeared in. Now we're giving stuff away, but fuck it at this point. The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which he was in, kind of heavy, I think, right, or at least more than one episode. Floundering, Pulp Fiction, Airheads, Somebody to Love, something called Who Do I Gotta Kill, The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy. He was in so many movies in
1994. And that's just 1 year out of the 90s, like where he's and like two of them are like masterpieces. I mean, it's crazy.
What a good year! Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, fucking Steve Buscemi. The God Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
all right,
I mean, the bench is so fucking deep on Buscemi.
It really is. Yeah. He might end up being one. I mean, of the 90 of our lifetime. I mean, sneakily one of the most accomplished actors. That's what you get for being like a character actor, I guess, right?
Yeah,
you get to work a lot.
That's the thing. Character actors get all the really cool opportunities. They're in a lot of really great movies. Yeah. I mean, like, you get to be there. I guess, you get to create different kinds of characters. You're not stuck playing the same dude again and again and again.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I mean, sort of what, like, gave me the idea to do Airheads as a fantasy draft topic. I was thinking about it one day. I'm like, Brendan Fraser's clearly supposed to be the dude in this movie. He's the person where all the studio executives were like, that's the guy. Yeah. That's going to be our fucking guy.
He's the leading man,
And then the other two guys who played these weirdo little roles ended up having some of the biggest careers in Hollywood history. Not that Steve Buscemi made a ton of money, but Adam Sandler, certainly one of the biggest careers in comedy Hollywood history.
I'm sure I wouldn't turn down Steve Buscemi's bank account. I can't.
Right, God, he's probably
didn't make a ton
rich.
of money, but I'm sure he's got. I'm sure he's doing.
Plus that firefighter pension.
That's exactly.
All right, The Simpsons coming off the board. Devin's fifth and final pick. Sean O'Connor, you are now up.
And I am going to choose with my final pick. I think it's my game changer, guys.
Okay.
I am going to let Sergio off the hook.
Okay.
He's no longer going to have the worst pick of this draft.
Where are you going?
Because with my final selection, I am choosing Encino Man.
Wow.
It is an awful film. It's so bad. And it was also the introduction of Pauly Shore as a movie star.
Yeah.
It was...
So it's a harmful movie. It's actively harmful.
You have him debuting, Brendan Fraser debuting, and it was like...
You got Rudy in it? Sean Astin?
Yeah, Sean Astin, right before we stopped seeing Sean Astin in movies.
We traded Sean Astin for Pauly Shore as a nation, as a culture.
But at the same time... It's a fun time dude movie.
Big time dude movie. Almost too dude.
It spawned if you think Sandler and Buscemi have been in movies a lot together, you don't know the half of how many movies Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser have been in together. Because a little fun fact about Encino Man, every single Pauly Shore movie from Encino Man till about, I guess, Jury Duty, link... The character that Brendan Fraser plays is in those movies.
What?
He's like in the background or he's like on the news. But no matter what, Brendan Fraser filmed for at least 2 hours to be in those movies.
Just as this like sort of running inside joke for all the true Pauly Shore heads out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just always Link's on a TV. Like Link is like drinking a gallon of milk in the background and in the army now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if anyone is either too young to have seen Encino Man or has too good a taste, it's a movie where these two men find a frozen caveman in their backyard. They're two high school outcasts.
Yeah, they asked their mom for a pool.
Yeah.
So they could, I think, skateboard in it. I think like Sean Astin wants to skateboard, but Pauly Shore is like, but the pool, honey.
Yeah, the
So they make them dig the pool themselves.
Yeah.
So they're in their backyard digging the pool, and then they stumble upon an iced caveman.
You know what's funny? When this movie came out, I was living back east. But now that I live in L.A., I find the idea of a frozen caveman in Encino to be a little hard to believe that he would still be frozen. I find that a little hard to believe.
That's the most unrealistic part of this movie.
That's the only part that I can't.
Encino,
really? Huh?
And how could you tell the difference if there was a caveman amongst you? Maybe that's kind of the big joke of the movie. Fucking Encino Man.
It's charming.
Yeah,
it is. It is charming.
Yeah.
It's there's that Howie Mandel movie, Walk Like a Man.
Yeah.
That one's bad.
Yeah.
Encino Man is okay.
Encino Man, good. Unfrozen caveman lawyer, owned by Sergio.
That's like right at the bottom of his list of characters.
Unfrozen caveman lawyer is good.
I love it.
I'll ride for
I love
Unfrozen
it,
caveman lawyer.
It's Bobby Moynihan kitty cat.
Bibby Moynihan's. All right, so okay, that great pick. That wraps up your draft.
Yeah, I feel okay with my team.
Feel okay with it? I am now going. We're going to me for my fifth pick. I have decided at this point, based on Sean and Devin, your drafts, that I'm probably not going to win this one. So now I'm just going weird because it's brought me more joy, I think, than anything that's left on the lists. So what I'm going to pick right now is from Brendan Fraser, and it's that short GIF of him clapping really weird.
I didn't know that was on the table.
Oh, it's on the table, baby.
Do you have it? Can you show it to us right
Yeah.
now?
Let me find it. Let me find it really quick.
I want to see it right now.
It's I don't know where it is. I don't care what award show it was.
I believe it's the Golden Globes.
Okay,
Yeah,
the Golden Globes.
That's probably one of the few that he can get into.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
And he was serving.
He was a seat filler. All right. Oh yeah. So Robert De Niro is making a joke behind the microphone. Here it is. Oh, I'll just hand you the computer, Devin. And they cut to a few They cut to some luminaries in the crowd. You get to see
Marty.
Yeah, Marty's on there. It's De Niro. De Niro cracks a joke, and for some reason they cut to Brendan Fraser, who claps and laughs.
Perfect.
In a way, like he's been struck with a palsy in the middle of trying to clap. It's. Oh, which you probably why Hollywood won't cast Brendan Fraser anymore.
Yeah.
You've seen that video, right?
I think you snuck up on me while I was watching that at work.
I did. What did they determine? Was it just was it The Mummy? Was that
the clap actually did play into it? I think they said like that bizarre clap really turned a lot of people off.
Wait, really?
That's what the video says. It's
If you it looks, Vincent D'Onofrio's character in Men in Black, where it's just a bug in a human outfit. It looks like him trying to clap, like trying to blood, like he took that gimmick too far. Now he's at an award show, like, oh no, I'll clap for Robert De Niro. It's crazy. He claps and then his hands go off in one direction while his body goes in the other.
Yeah, it's like he has no control over his fingers.
Yeah. And then he starts pointing, like he does this weird clap, and then starts pointing at Robert De Niro, like the joke was just for Fraser, baby. You know what I mean? He's like, you fucking got me, Bobby. Okay.
You know, the tragedy of that is there's so many people in that room, and he could have just been doing that to himself, but the camera just happened to fucking cut out. That is crazy.
It was the one where the director was like, fucking, let's get in on Brendan Fraser, because, he hasn't
let's help him out.
And they couldn't have known he was going to do that.
They couldn't. They happened to have a camera.
Camera 3, go.
Perfectly on him. Yeah, camera 3, go. Fraser making a complete ass of himself. Just laugh, but also maybe having the best time at the Golden Globes out of anyone who was there. So Brendan Fraser living his best life is my fifth pick, clapping at the Golden Globes.
It's a great pick.
So, you got The Simpsons on one side of the scale and Brendan Fraser clapping for maybe 4 seconds on the other. And I'm feeling good about my final pick. Sergio, you have the final pick.
I can't beat that.
Of the final round of the draft.
I'm just going to go with a movie that I'm pretty sure most of you don't know. It's Buscemi.
Yes.
It's a movie called Ed and His Dead Mother.
I know Ed and His Dead Mother.
Dead Mother.
It's not a great movie.
Yeah.
But it was on HBO one time when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I saw a pair of breasts
Yes.
on TV.
Yes.
So I really have a special place in my heart for that film.
Was it the dead mother's breasts?
No.
Oh, thank God.
No, it's like the neighbor or something. It's a really weird movie.
Yeah.
So his mom dies, Buscemi's mom dies, and he brings her back to life, right? Isn't that the premise?
I think so.
Yeah.
And she's got like these weird. She's still technically dead, so she's got like bugs around all over her, and so it's such a gross movie. But
great title.
I'm all about them titties. So
Yeah, you love them titties. Yeah. Fun fact: Sam Sorbo is in the movie. I don't know what her name was at the time, but since 1998, her last name is Sorbo because she married Kevin Sorbo.
Was that? Did you see her?
I think I did. I think that was.
Were
her.
those the first pair of boobs you saw?
If I should,
Hercules' wife's boobs?
Was
think
born
so.
again Christian?
Born again,
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Sergio saw Kevin Sorbo's wife's boobs. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was only 8 years old.
I'm sure that the Lord will forgive you if you become born again like Kevin Sorbo.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did she give you a sore boner?
You're like Sam Sorbo. The Trading Places was my first set of on-screen boobs.
Oh,
Terrific.
Great,
JLC.
great set of boobs.
JLC, Jamie Lee Curtis, and then first in theater boobs, Starship Troopers.
I feel like
yeah.
you started off so strong that it's like downhill from trading. That's really a...
They were great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the perfect pair. Mine was Species. I went with my cousins to see Species.
Yeah.
They were like 16 and I was like 8, and that movie did a number on me.
Yeah, that's a tough. I walked out of Mortal Kombat, I think, at the age of 8, 9, or 10 because Goro was too scary. And you went and saw Species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some fucking in that.
There was some hard fucking, I think. Devin, do you remember your first movie boobs?
It has to be... My uncle snuck me in when I was 7 or 8, 8, I think, to see The Jerk.
Oh, yeah.
And there's boobs in The Jerk. So that has to be my first because I would never seen an R-rated movie before that.
What a beautiful moment. I feel like that's probably lost a little bit where now the internet is everywhere. I feel like boobs are just flying at you left and right.
It's so
I
boring.
did look up that scene recently.
Yeah.
And it's like a side shot, and it's like in the dark.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure you're not even really meant to see them.
But that was gold back then. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're 8
Well, when you're
and
8,
they're on a screen,
crystal
you'll
clear.
find them.
Yeah. Sam stuck those in. That's amazing. When you saw it, when you rewatched it, did it give you a sore boner? I hope so, man. I hope so for you and for everyone here. And so that concludes the All Fantasy Everything Airheads edition. Really quick, let's go over the list again. Devin Faraci, you picked Punch Drunk Love right out of the gate, and then Fargo, and then Gulch. And Monsters. And then Ghost World, and followed it up with a little television show called The Simpsons. Sean O'Connor, your first pick was Billy Madison, and then you went with The Big Lebowski, and then The Wedding Singer, and then Monsters, Inc. Our second... Monsters? our second Monsters movie, and then we capped it all off with Encino Man. I picked, with my first pick, Reservoir Dogs, and then went with Con Air, and then the television show The Sopranos, and then Airheads, and then a clip of Brendan Fraser clapping for my final pick. Sergio Serna started things off with Happy Gilmore, and then you picked another movie, and then you went with Armageddon, Saturday Night Live, and then Ed and His Dead Mother and the breasts therein.
Yeah.
Sergio definitely has the weirdest. It's weird that Ian picked a clip of Brendan Fraser clapping and isn't the weirdest.
Some of the movies that we left on the board. I mean, Funny People, Spanglish, Waterboy from Adam Sandler. God, what Buscemi? We kind of plucked the Buscemi tree clean. He's in King of New York. He's in Pulp Fiction for like a second, isn't he? We left that on the tree. Could have been, the Pulp Fiction instead of.
I thought about it. But
Yeah.
if I'm weighing Buscemi's performance in Pulp Fiction against Brendan Fraser's performance in The Mummy.
Yeah, that's a
clear
point.
winner there.
Yeah.
Buscemi's performance.
Resounding Buscemi. So that's the draft, guys. Thank you so much for playing, for participating, for coming on the podcast. Once again, you can check out Sean O'Connor at Sean O'Cons on Twitter. Devin Faraci is at Devin CF. Sergio Serna at Sergio
Serna
Sergio C.
at
Serna.
gmail.com.
What's your phone number?
Yeah.
Just email me.
Send him a fun e-card. Just a fun little e-card.
Sure.
And get that conversation going.
Sounds good.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Anything else you want to say? Any names to drag through the mud before we go?
Nope.
No.
Just want to say thank you for having me
Yeah,
on.
thanks,
thank you.
man.
Thank you.
Oh, what a pleasure. It was so much fun.
And fuck Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Wherever you... Oh, really? One last thing before we go.
He's waiting outside.
What did that YouTube video determine? Why doesn't he have a career anymore?
I didn't finish it because you snuck up on me.
Oh, that's right. That's my bad, everybody.
I'm
Sorry
saying,
about that.
He made a couple bad decisions in the... I think it was the early 2000s. Maybe, no, like 2010 around. That was like his downfall was...
Yeah.
The Looney Tunes movie he did.
Oh, that's right.
Furry Vengeance.
Yeah.
He did another movie called Extraordinary Measures, I think, that bombed. So,
Yeah.
he just...
I heard he's hard to work with.
Oh,
Hard to
that
work?
might be
Yeah.
it.
I heard he's hard to work
Yeah, I
with.
heard he beat up DC Pearson.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck you, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
We're coming for you. DC's whole squad is rolling.
Like, I can't even imagine anybody, like, being mean to DC.
Yeah.
Like,
He's the greatest guy in the entire world.
Yeah, so with our sixth pick, we all picked DC Pierce. Thank you for participating, and thank you for listening at home. This has been All Fantasy Everything. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for listening to the inaugural episode of All Fantasy Everything. Thank you again to my guests, Sean O'Connor, Devin Faraci, and Sergio Serna. Shout out to our engineer, G. Thank you, G. And remember, to vote on who you thought had the best draft, go to @Ian Karmel on Twitter. There'll be a poll there for you to vote in. We're still figuring out the kinks of how exactly that's going to work, but I know this week, if you go to @Ian Karmel, there will be a poll there for you to vote on who had the best draft. We'll determine the winner. Whoever it is that won will be given $145 million to do with as they please. So thank you for listening, and tune in again next Friday for an all-new episode of All Fantasy Everything.
That was a HeadGum podcast.